Hey guys, today I'm going to be teaching you how to play Fast and Furious Highway Heist Semi-Heist scenario. Because Rodney Smith has already taught the first, I didn't mean to say that I don't want to keep watching him. He's very entertaining and he teaches games very well. So, let me teach you Semi-Heist since no one's taught it to you yet, and I made a poll and one person said they wanted it. So, to that one person, here you go. First things first, I'm going to read the overview and objective. Your team has been given a job to recover valuable cargo from a semi-truck barreling down the highway, and the driver is armed with a shotgun. To obtain cargo, team members must leap out of their vehicles and onto the semi, open its back door, and throw cargo to other team members' vehicles. The team wins if during an end of round all players have a player vehicle, and each player vehicle 1 has 2 cargo tokens, 2 has no enemy peg on top, and 3 is the furthest east row of the road board. The team loses if during an end of round either the level 3 stunt card moves off the west side of the road board or no one on the team has a player vehicle. This would not normally be here, I'm just showing you how you win. All players have a player vehicle. Each player vehicle has 2 cargo tokens, no enemy on top of their car, and is in the furthest east row of the road board. This would not normally be here, I'm just showing you how you'd lose. If during an end of round, either the level 3 stunt card moves off the west side of the road board, or no one has a player vehicle. In this example, they have an SUV, but they did not hijack it. I'm also going to read the new concepts. Before playing Semi-Heist, play the tank assault scenario. This scenario introduced 2 new concepts, special actions and reactive stunts. Both are explained on page 3. The setup is the same except for these changes. The enemy cards, the scenario setup, and the stunt cards are all going to be for Semi-Heist, and you're going to need the semi-truck instead of the tank, and these tokens later on. You're probably wondering why I put enemy SUVs already. It's because in each scenario setup board, it shows the same setup for the enemy SUVs. We're going to take this step by step. Place the semi in the 3 spaces as shown. The nose of the cab should be lined with the front of the space. Shut the semi door. You'll place the semi-truck right here and push it over here, just so when the door opens, there's enough space for it. Close the door, you won't need it just yet. Place an enemy SUV in each of the 4 spaces as shown. I have done that already. Place an enemy peg on the 2 enemy SUVs as shown. I've done that already, but there's the picture for you. Count out 2 cargo tokens per player and place them to the side of the scenario board. So we're playing with 2 players, so we'll need 4 of these tokens. Then you will place them right next to the scenario board. Just like that. Finally it says, flip the scenario board to the front side, place a cube in the shotgun shells slot according to the number of players. This completes setup. So as you can see, we just need 1 of these enemy cubes. So we're going to flip this over and place it in the 2P spot, or 2 players. Each space is considered an individual space. Each space has 2 slots for pegs, where only 1 enemy piece can be on it. So if there's 2, like right here, that wouldn't work, but if it was like that, that would work. I called this an enemy piece. This is an enemy peg. Also, this is the rear space, the middle space, and the cab space. When you place the semi on the road, you need to make sure that, once again, it's pushed up so when you open the door, it's lined up and will stay on the same space. It's a little annoying because it doesn't perfectly line up, but that's an example of how it will look. The middle space underneath the semi-truck is actually an unoccupied space, and you can move underneath it, but you may not end your turn on it. You can even force a person, or the enemy, to move underneath it to go to the next space, and even if they have a peg on there, you can still force it underneath. You can force it underneath or you can move underneath. This should be very obvious, but the semi is the main enemy of this scenario, and if you roll this or this, then for this one you will move it up north 1 space, and if you roll this one you'll move it down south 1 space. And like normal, you resolve the enemy card. If when you roll the enemy die, you have to move it down, and there's a vehicle next to it, it just pushes it down with it. It does not deal any damage. I'll clarify what I was saying. The semi if it has to move down into another player vehicle or an enemy vehicle, it deals no damage and just pushes it down. If there is a vehicle and then a vehicle on the other side of it where the semi is moving, it just pushes both of the vehicles and no damage is done. If the semi pushes a wreck, it's just removed and no damage is dealt once again. Same thing happens if it has to push a vehicle into a wreck. The wreck is just removed and once again no damage is dealt. If there is no space for push vehicles to move into, the semi does not move. This example has to move south, but the vehicle would be pushed off the board, as seen like that, so it would not move south at all. Be careful, the semi-driver has a shotgun in the cab. When shotgun is revealed on an enemy card, do the following. So you can see shotgun, see scenario board for details. If any player pegs are on the semi, then the driver shoots. Lower the shotgun shells by 1. All player pegs on top of the semi must now move to the top of the nearest vehicle with an available slot. So that would be this vehicle. If any enemy pegs are on the semi-truck, they will stay there. If there are no player pegs on top of the semi, they do not shoot. Even if it's an enemy peg, they still do not. There are new special actions. Special actions are scenario-specific actions available on your turn. As shown on the scenario board, these actions count as one of your 2 actions and require a successful skill roll to perform. See skill rolls on page 8 of the instructions. For the semi-heist, there are 2 special actions. To attempt the open semi-door action, you must be on one of the rear spaces of the semi-truck, and you still have to roll, and if you get 1 or more pip on the dice, then you have successfully cut myself off there. You have successfully done that action. So now you can open the semi-door and attempt the next action, and anyone else can too. The second action is throw cargo. To attempt this action, your player peg must be on top of the rear space, and the rear door has to be open, and the player vehicle you are throwing to must be manned. Your vehicle is manned when your player peg is on your board. It must also be in one of these 3 spaces that is west of and adjacent to the rear door. Also, the player vehicle you're throwing to cannot have an enemy peg. If it does, you may not perform this action. So obviously you will need to roll the die, and let's pretend that I got a 2. Then I have successfully completed this action. If you were successful, you take one of these cargo tokens and place it next to the board of the player you threw it to. So this example, Dominic threw it to Brian, so he would collect the token. Correction, it says place it on the vehicle board, so I'm guessing you place it like right there. If you are carrying cargo and your car is destroyed, you will return this cargo back to the scenario board. And you'd also remove the car. This new stunt card would not likely be here at the beginning of the game, and it's probably impossible for it to. Reactive stunts like this one have different rules. Reactive stunt cards offer actions you can attempt when a condition occurs, even if it's not your turn. If you attempt one when it is your turn, it does not count as one of your 2 actions. At any time, if a player meets the condition, they may immediately attempt to the reactive stunt action. A reactive stunt action may only be attempted once per player per round. Reactive stunts act the same as others when they're solved. You do the action, you get the boost token, and you flip it over. During road maintenance, when moving wrecks west, if it hits the semi, it's just removed. It doesn't do anything to the semi-truck. After road maintenance, if no player has a player vehicle or a vehicle that's manned and is theirs, then they are overwhelmed by the enemies, the game immediately ends and the team loses. If you missed how to win and how to lose, go back to the beginning of the video and I've got the goal and the overview of the game. If you want to, you can read the tips and strategy, pause right now, and you can read the frequently asked questions if you need to, there you go. And you can also read the frequently asked questions on the whole game if you want to. But yeah, you can pause on that. And that was how to play Fast and Furious Highway Heist Semi-Heist Scenario. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Bye!